Chaitanya Shikashtakam, His Grace Satchitananda Dasa Prabhuji discussed how a devotee must pray. A devotee must pray that I am not able to give all the material, I am not able to give up all the material attractions. So, O son of Nanda Maharaj, what should I do? I am fallen. Please pull me out of this perpetual cycle of birth and death. I am his servant, my dear Lord. Please pick me up from this ocean. I am getting drowned here. Please help. Please help and fix me as an atom in your feet. If not, just make me a particle of dust of your lotus feet. So this was the essence of the last session of Chaitanya Shikashtakam, where Prabhuji discussed verse number 5. And now we request His Grace Satchitananda Dasa Prabhuji to kindly commence today's session for Shri Chaitanya Shikashtakam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Asimkar Prabhu, and both their children, brother and sister, did a wonderful job. The pronunciations were perfect. I was just amazed at the way they sung a very difficult song by Jagdev Goswami from the 11th century, a very wonderful, exalted Vaishnava who has composed many wonderful bhajans, especially bhajans of a very, very high nature in terms of its Radha Krishna's amorous activities. And he composed the Dasavatar Stotram as well, and many of the wonderful song books like the Geet Govind, etc., which are even very wonderfully sung today in the Jagannath temple and by many devotees that derive a lot of great bhakti, and it gives a lot of pleasure to the Lord when one sings these wonderful songs that are written and composed by pure devotees. So that was very wonderful. Thank you, Vivan, for reciting the Dasavatar Stotram. And we would like to involve children more and more in our Bhakti Vedanta Bhagavad group. If there's anybody who would wish to come and sing, or if your kids would like to sing the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra or any bona fide Vaishnava songs, definitely please get in touch with me or Asim Prabhu or Anup Prabhu in advance, and we can make the arrangements. Again, very happy to have both these wonderful Vaishnava children. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we will be continuing the Shri Chaitanya Shikashtakam And today we will be taking up verse number 6. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has composed a wonderful song dedicated to each verse, all the 8 verses of Shri Chaitanya Shikashtakam, in his book called Gitavali. And song number 6 is aparādha-phale mama. Aparādha-phale mama chitta-bhelo vajra-sama tuvanam nalavevi kar. aparādha-phale mama chitta-bhelo vajra-sama tuvanam nalavevi kar. हताश होइए होरी तव नाम उच्च कोरी बोरो दुख दाकी बार बार. हताश होइए होरी तव नाम उच्च कोरी बोरो दुख दाकी बार बार. दीन दयामय करुणा निदान. दीन दयामय करुणा निदान. भव बिंदु राखो पराण. भव बिंदु राखो पराण. कब तू नाम उच्चारणे मोर नयन झरबो दार दार लो. कब तू नाम उच्चारणे मोर नयने झरबो दार दार लो. बोल. गड़ गड़ स्वर कंठे उपजाबो मुखे बोल आधा आधा बहारी बो. गद गद स्वर कंठे उपजाबो मुखे बोल आधा आधा बाहिर बो. फूल के भरबो शरीर हमार स्वेद कंपस्तंभ. हवे बार बार स्वेद कंपस्तंभ. हवे बार बार पुलक भरोबो शरीर हमार श्वेद कंप स्तंभ. हवे बार बार श्वेद कंप. हवे बार बार विवरण शरीरे हरबो ज्ञान नाम समाश्रय धरबो पराण नामयाश्रय धरबो पराण मिलबो हमार किए आचे दीने रो भक्ति विनोद मतिहीन मिलबो हमार किछु आचे दीने रो भक्ति विनोद मतिहीन Verse 2, number 2. Kabe tu, number 2. Dina doya moya karuna nidhana Dina doya moya karuna nidhana. Verse 1. aparādha-phale mama chitta bhelo vajra-sama tua name na labhe vikara dina doya karuna nidhana dina doya moya karuna nidhana. Verse 1. हताश होइए होरी तव नाम उच्च कोरी बोलो दुख दाकी बार बार दीना दोया मोया करुणा निधान दीना दोया मोया करुणा निधान. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Bol. 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 Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Gaur Hari. Jaya Satchitananda Gaur Hari. Jaya Satchitananda Gaur Hari. Jaya Satchitananda Gaur Hari. Jaya Satchitananda Gaur Hari. O Vishnu Priya Prana Dhana Nadiya Bihari. Namo Namo Tulasi Krishna Preyasi. Namo Namo Tulasi Krishna Preyasi. Namo Namo Radha Krishna Seva Pao Ei Abhilashi. Raje Radha Krishna Seva Pao Ei Abhilashi. Namo Namo Tulasi Krishna Preyasi. Namo Namo Je tumar sharan loe tara vancha purna hoye. Kripa kori goro tare Vrindavan vasi. Je tomar sharan loye tar vancha purna hoye. Kripa kori goro Vrindavan vasi. Moro ye abhilash vilas kunje diyo vas. Nayane rivo sada jugal rasi. Namo Namo Tulasi Krishna Preyasi. Namo Namo Ei Nivedana સખીરાનુગતા કરો, સેવાયાધિકાર દિયે કરો નિજ દાસી. એ નિવેદન ધરો, સખીરાનુગતા કરો, સેવાયાધિકારો દિયે કરો નિજ દાસી. નમો નમો તુલસી કૃષ્ણ પ્રેયસી, નમો નમો. દીન કૃષ્ણ દાસે કોય એ જન મોર હોય, શ્રી રાધા ગોવિંદ પ્રેમે સદા જેનો ભાસી. દીન કૃષ્ણ દાસે કોય એ જન મોર હોય, શ્રી રાધા ગોવિંદ પ્રેમે સદા જેનો ભાસી. નમો નમો તુલસી કૃષ્ણ પ્રેયસી, નમો નમો. यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्मत्यादिकानि च, तानि तानि प्राणाशान्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे. यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्मत्यादिकानि च, तानि तानि प्राणाशान्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Tulsi Maharani, Jayo Vrinda Devi, Jayo Tulsi Maharani, Jayo Vrinda Devi. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radhe Radhe. Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radhe Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinath, Radha Gopinath, Radhe Radhe. Jaya Radha Ramana, Radha Ramana, Radhe Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodar, Radha Damodar, Radhe Radhe. Jaya Radha Shama Sundar, Radha श्याम सुंदर राधे राधे। जय कृष्ण बलराम जय वृंदावन धाम। जय कृष्ण बलराम जय वृंदावन धाम। जय ललिता विशाखा राधे श्याम। जय ललिता विशाखा राधे श्याम। जय ललिता विशाखा राधे श्याम। जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ। जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा। जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी। नयन पथगामी भव तुमे। जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी। नयन पथगामी भव तुमे। भजाम्यहं हरिदासवर्यं। भजाम्यहं हरिदासवर्यं। नमस्ते गिरिराजाय गोवर्धननामिने। प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय सर्वानन्ददायिने। प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद। जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय प्रभुपाद। गुरुदेव 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 गुरुदेव। जय जय गुरुदेव। जय जय गुरुदेव। जय जय गुरुदेव। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। संसार दावानल लीड लोका। प्रणाय कारुण्य घना घनात्वम्। प्राप्तस्य कल्याण गुणा नवास्य। वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम्। वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम्। वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् आराध्य भगवान् व्रजेश तनयस् तद्धाम वृन्दावनम् रम्या काचिदुपासना व्रजवधूवर्गेण तया कल्पिता श्रीमद्भागवत पुराणयमलम् प्रेम पुमार्थो महान् श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभोर्मतैदं नायत्रयाग्र परः। श्री चैतन्य शिष्टाष्टकम। चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापणं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधू जीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदपूर्णमृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नपन्नं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम् नामकारी बहुधा निज सर्वशक्ति तत्रर्पित नियमेक स्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममयपि दुर्दैवं मीदृशम् इह जानिना अनुरागः तृणादपि सुनीचेना तरोइव सहिष्णुना अमानिना मानदेना कीर्तन्या सदा हरिः ना धनं ना जनं ना सुन्दरीं कविता वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवताद्भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि अयि नन्दतनुज किं करो पतितमां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजस्थितधूलिं सदृशं विचिन्तया नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनौ गद्गदहृदया गिरा पुलकीर्णचितं वपुः कदा तव नाम गृहणे स भविष्यति युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रवश्यायितं शुनायितं जगतः सर्वं गोविन्द विरहेण मे आश्लिष्य पादरतां पिनष्टु माम् अदर्शनं मर्म हर्तो करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विधातो लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथ स एव न परः मत्प्राणनाथ स एव न परः मत्प्राणनाथ स एव न परः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च ठुमक ठुमक पग उमक कुंज मग चपल चरण हरि आए हो हो चपल चरण हरि आए मेरे प्राण लुभावन आए मेरे नयन लुभावन आए ठुमक ठुमक पग उमक उमक कुंज चपल चरण हरि आए हो 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 चपल चरण हरि आए नवनीरदनिन्दितकान्तिधरं रसोसागर नागर भूपवरं शुभवङ्किमचारु शिखण्डशिखिं भज कृष्णनिधिं व्रजराजसुतं भज कृष्णनिधिं व्रजराजसुतं राधिका सरोदिन्दु निन्दिमुखमण्डली वन्द्ये श्रीपादपद्मा वृषभानुनन्दिनी वन्द्ये श्रीपादपद्मा वृषभानुनन्दिनी वन्द्ये श्रीपादपद्मा वृषभानुनन्दिनी वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Today is July the 4th, 2021, and we will be continuing into the Chaitanya Shikashtakam, the glorious summum bonum that emanated from the lotus mouth of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The more and more we try to enter into its mood, the more and more deeper it will take us into the pure essence, summum bonum of Shuddha Bhakti. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as you all recollect, we have mentioned, had two reasons. One external reason for appearing into this world, and he had internal reasons. As a matter of fact, three internal reasons. The external reason was to give the holy name freely to everyone. The importance of the holy name, Harinam, without considering the qualifications. That is why he is known as Karuna Avatar. He is known as the Audharya Avatar. He is the most munificent. Rup Goswami says, Namo Mahavadanyaya. Maha means great, supremely great, and Vadanyaya means one who is most, Vadanya means munificent, who gives freely in charity. And he does not give an ordinary treasure in charity, like the kings or the emperors can give rubies and diamonds and gold necklaces and gold coins in abundance if they are pleased with somebody. Mahaprabhu gave the greatest treasure, which is Golok Prem. Golokera Prema Dhana, Hari Nama Sankirtana. This Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, comes from the highest strata, from the highest region in this creation. Even within the spiritual world, it comes from the highest strata, which is known as Golok Vrindavan. Chintamani Prakara Sadmashu Kalpa Vruksha Lakshat Vriteshu Surbhir Abhir Palayantam Lakshmi Sahastra Shata Sambrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tavaham Bhajami. That region which is full of touchstone, Chintamani Prakara Sadmasu Kalpa Vruksha Lakshat Vriteshu, where there are millions and millions of thousands and thousands of desire trees, and where the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, known as Govinda, one who gives pleasure to the cows, one who gives pleasure to the gopis, one who gives pleasure to the gopas, one who gives pleasure to Gokul, which is a part of Golok. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, the divine Gurudev of Srila A.C. Bhakti Swami Prabhupada, has mentioned in his purports of the Brahma Samhita that within Golok Vrindavan there is Gokul. There are so many different regions in Golok Vrindavan, including Mayapur. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has mentioned that in the Krishna Samhita. This Friday is Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Gadadhar Pandit's disappearance. Please fast until noon. We seek their blessings of these acharyas, who are the direct associates of Srimati Radharani. Gadadhar Pandit is Radharani. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a very, very close and a dear servitor, a dasi of Radharani, a kinkari in the Swapaksha Gopi Vrunda. As Kamla Manjari, she is present. And we are so fortunate that we have got this opportunity to understand this Chaitanya Shikashtakam explained by such great acharyas. So much in depth, dive deeper and deeper and deeper, and they take us to newer and newer depths of this wonderful Chaitanya Shikashtakam. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has commented in his Bhajan Rahasya. He has commented on the Chaitanya Shikashtakam through his songs of the Gitavali in the section of Chaitanya Shikashtakam for each verse. And we have been singing every time we start a new verse. We have taking the blessings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur ji through his wonderful, sublime, deep words. We are trying to dive deep into this Astakam, because the Supreme Lord and the Lord's pure devotees are one in their thinking, feeling, and willing. The Mayavadis, they say, Mayavadis means those persons or those personalities in that school of thought who, I've explained that before, but very briefly again, who say that this whole world is illusory. Brahma Sattva Jagat Mithya. The Brahman or the effulgence that exists is real, or the rather we all are Brahma, and we are all Nirgun. We do not possess any possess any form. We do not possess any attributes. Nirgun, Nirvisesh. And we are all one. We are God. So aham. Satchitananda Rupam Shivo aham, Shivo aham. They chant these mantras and they mislead themselves into the darkest, deepest well that is infested with many poisonous snakes. They believe in the energy or the effulgence of the Lord, but they do not believe in the Lord, that the Lord is a real person. Personalities like Srila Prabhupada come, and whenever Prabhupada speaks about Krishna, he says the supreme personality of Godhead. Why does Prabhupada use that word? Srila Prabhupada use the word personality. Why does he just not use the word the Supreme Lord? He wants to distinguish between the Mayavadis and the Vaishnavas. Just like you and I, we have a form. I have a certain round face. I have a certain color. I have a certain height. So these forms exist not only in the material world, but they also eternally exist in the spiritual world. The Mayavadis want to kill Krishna. Mahaprabhu has said, Mayavadi Krishna aparādhi. That is why they never chant the holy names of the Lord. Because the holy name of the Lord and the Lord, they are the same. Nam nanamino abhinna. Krishna Nama Chintamani, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Nitya Mukta, Nitya Suddha Param Mukta, Nam nanamino abhinna. It is a live mantra. And that is what Mahaprabhu came. Mayavadi Bhasya Sunila Hoy Sarvanash. The Mayavadis speak from the Bhagavad Gita. They use the Ved, the Vedanta. They try to manipulate the verses for the general people who do not understand Sanskrit, or they do not understand the main essence of bhakti. For their own sense gratification, they want to become God. And that is because they have this deep down within them, their consciousness that we are all one. It is like that communist attitude, comrade, right? In the previous Soviet Union, Even the president called the peasant comrade, and the peasant called the president comrade. We are all equal. But is it so? Yes, there is equality in servitorship, in the sense that we are all servants of the Supreme Lord. There is equality that we are all parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. Mamayamsha jiva loka jiva bhuta sanatan. Eternally we are part and parcels of Krishna. Krishna himself. There is equality there. But there is varied-gettedness. Srila Prabhupada and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada explained that very well. That varied-gettedness, that is a part of this entire creation. There is variety. Not all 5 fingers are the same. Even though children are born in the same family, raised by the same parents, with the same sanskars, with the same, with the same, what's the right word for samskars? With the same mannerisms and the same quality of life, good quality of life as samskars. But then we find that not all the children in the family are the same. Although they are the same in the sense getting the same treatment from the parents, the same food on the table, the same instructions, they're sent with the same pocket money given every week, they're sent to the same schools. When they go on a vacation, they all go to vacation together to the same location. But there is still minute independence that makes us different. That makes us different, that gives us different destinations in the form of karma. And even when we are using the minute independence correctly in the service of the Supreme Lord, depending on our mood of service, we are given entrance into the different parts of the spiritual world. Whether one wants to eternally have the servitorship of Dasya Ras, then Vaikuntha is perfect for them. But if somebody wants more than servitorship, a relationship with the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world, then the Lord has made that facility where in Golok Vrindavan, the Supreme Lord, personality of Godhead, can be the friend, he can be the son, he can be the lover. Shri Akantaha Kantaha Parama Purushaha Kalpataravo Dhrumi Bhumis Chintamani Kantaha Kantaha Parama Purusha. He is the lover, the highest lover. No, if one wants love, real love, we cannot find that in this material world. It is contaminated with lust. Even amongst the most ideal so-called relationships that we have in this world, whether it is between husband and wife or parents and children, it is still, there is a tinge of materialism or lust. That is what our acharyas explain. But if we want real love, and if we want, then there is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who can completely and fully reciprocate with us. And the process and the method, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu opened that treasure by giving the Mahamantra freely. That was the reason why he came, his external reason. Let them all have access to Golok Vrindavan. It's like if somebody declared that let all of them, like the government, right now the government, all the governments in the world, they're giving free COVID vaccines. Nobody has to pay out of pocket. Every government in the world, not that I know of this, unless somebody tells me otherwise. So suddenly, if the king or the government declares, let everybody have $1 million, let everybody have first-class tickets wherever they want. It's like a genie saying wherever you want. Can you imagine the material happiness that would bring to the people in this world if a king declared like that, or a prime minister or president? The president of all presidents in this creation has declared that. He has given us the opportunity to go out and seek this treasure. The vaccines are available, but many people still, they're not going out to get them vaccinated. Especially in the United States, there is every day we hear about this news on CNN, etc., that there's still a certain group of people especially that have been motivated by the former president, there's no need for the vaccine. Uh, Still not 100% vaccinated, although it is free. Similarly, we have this vaccine of Harinam that is freely available, but we do not take that opportunity, or we do not make that effort to take it. This vaccine will not only, like this vaccine, uh, that eradicates, or at least not does not eradicate. I stand corrected. It will prevent, the COVID virus. Even if one is inflicted, then there's enough antibodies, or the defense system is created, that in the event if the attack of the COVID virus comes into the body, it will be able to defend. The defense system is administered through the vaccine. So similarly, Mahaprabhu gave this great defense system against all kinds of viruses of materialism by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare, and even beyond. Taking us beyond the boundaries of this material world and straight propelling us into the topmost planet in the spiritual sky, Golok Vrindavan. But as in the second verse, Mahaprabhu speaks on our behalf. Na ihajani anuragaha. Although all these, the holy name possesses all these wonderful transcendental qualities, full of Krishna, Radharani, their personal associates, even so, we are not attracted to the holy name. Why? Because we are attracted to, because we are very, very arrogant by nature. We have acquired in this material world the spirit of aham. I am something. Aham. We are not tolerant like a blade of grass, humbler than a blade of grass, not tolerant like a tree. We want respect, and we do not want to really give respect. In this material world, there's so much contrived atmosphere, false, kaitava atmosphere, where we only tend to give respect to ones who give us respect. If one doesn't call us, we don't call them. This is very natural in this material because we are all under the influence of Maya. And we cannot do these things, we cannot advance in our spiritual life unless and until we are extremely humble. And for that reason, Mahaprabhu says, he gives the solution. Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitava jagdish kame mama janmani janmani ishware bhavatat bhakti rahituki tvai. Verse number 3. Solution is in verse number 4 of the Chaitanya Shikashtakam. I'm just summarizing. Because we are attracted to dhanam, money, wealth, material assets. Janam, we are attracted to followers, false respect. All these followers in the world that we get, whether in the offices or whatever environment, whether one is a celebrity in a particular sport, all these admirers are false. The moment that the admirers, if a batsman doesn't, if they put money that he's going to hit a century, 100 runs, or in baseball, he's going to hit X amount of home runs. And if he doesn't do that after a couple of games, oh, he's an idiot. And then they start cursing that same player that they adored, and they had their photographs all over the wall and in their collection. Janam. And those who think that all these people that are following them, whether they are Hollywood, Bollywood, or big sports people, the followers, Janam, They are, I am something. Look at all my followers. Everything will be finished. Everything is temporary. Na dhanam na janam, sundarim, and on the opposite sex. There's no need to elaborate that. The impetus Srila Prabhupada has mentioned in the Bhagavatam purports, in the Bhagavad Gita purports, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita purports, in all the books that Prabhupada, somewhere or the other, you will find that in the material world, the impetus is sex, the opposite sex. In a very subtle way, it is there. Even if some may think, oh, no, I did it for my family. One time, Srila Prabhupada went to the Birlas. He was invited. He went there. And of course, Mr. Birla were very nice men, very pious. We see the Birla Mandirs, many temples constructed all over India, the Birla temples, and very, very pious person. And even the father uh, and the grandfather, they were all very pious people. But when he went there, the other family members that were gathered, there was like a huge, like brothers, cousins, and their children, and and some of them with their children, they were all present. And when Srila Prabhupada came, it took them about half an hour just to introduce everyone. This is my son, this is my son's sons, this is my brother, this is my brother's wife. And then Srila Prabhupada at some point said to one of his disciples that, I'm not really interested in your sex life, meaning in their sex life. One should take full advantage when a sadhu comes to the house. Simply, bow down, offer him a good seat, and straightforward take advantage of Hari Katha, Hari Kirtan, not by spending half an hour introducing the entire family. So these are the words of Srila Prabhupada. It may sound a little harsh. Basically, I don't want to know your sex life, basically. So the sex life is the family that has been produced out of sex life. A sadhu's job is, Prabhupada, exactly why he would go to people's places. Even nowadays, it's a different story, and even in our ISKCON, unfortunately, the whole method or idea of doing home programs and the sadhus visiting us, the main consciousness has been lost. It has become more or less like at the end and the beginning and somewhere in the middle also. During the program, so many people are whispering, talking, gossiping. When Hari Kirtan is going on, when lecture is going on, instead of taking advantage of the nectar of the holy name and the holy instruction, people are in their own worlds. And the moment the katha is finished, prasadam begins. Nobody talks about Krishna or Krishna katha. 99.999% people are talking about what happened in the world, what happened in their homes, all material activities and material descriptions. And mostly today, sadhus go because they know that they are going to get something in a white envelope. That is their impetus. It's a silent game that is going on. And in the name of true pure bhakti, all these drama baji is going on. All this drama is going on. It is read in the Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, that when the sadhus go to the householders only for one reason, is to bestow their mercy on them. That is the main reason. And even if they just stop by for a couple minutes, what is the time limit that they stop by if they're not speaking Hari Katha or doing Hari Kirtan? As much time it takes to milk a cow for one little pot. So that they will milk the cow and give one little pot or a kamandal to the sadhu so he can take it. And by the sadhu accepting that those alms, it is to the benefit of the householder. But that spirit is not there anymore. Nowadays, sadhus select and elect who they will go, in whose driveway they have a Mercedes or a BMW or the latest SUV sitting. We've had those such people. This is from my practical experience, I tell you. Some simple person who's doing an ordinary job, who's living in an apartment, and if they are genuinely inviting a sadhu and they go through all their chamchas, oh, they'll never get an audience. They will never, because they will not even, it will not even reach the ears of those sadhus that the such and such a person is inviting. But those who have a big house, 10,000 square feet, with 5 cars sitting in the driveway with the latest model, because they have a name and they know, but when they're going to go there, they're going to get a big fat check in that white envelope. So they pick and choose. This is the situation we have in Kali Yuga, unfortunately. Srila Prabhupada went to all these rich people, to all these different, but he even went to wherever he was invited and whenever the time permitted. He was not elective and selective on the status, and that is the same thing that moved sakshat haritvena samasta shastra uktas tatha bhav yata eva sadbhi kinto prabhoya priya eva tasya vande guru Sri Charanarvindam. Thinking, feeling and willing just like Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu also did not make a distinction. He gave the holy name freely so that everybody can get that highest treasure of Golok Vrindavan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And all he said that please consider what I'm saying through this Chaitanya Shikashtakam. If you really want to achieve the highest treasure of Krishna Prem, I've already given it to you. Na dhanam na janam na sundarim. Kavitava, the flowery language that people are using these days. And Kavita also means the mundane poetry. When people write ghazals and mundane poetry, it is appreciated by so many people all over the world, more than the subject matter that are there in the Bhagavatam. You will see the ghazals of Jagjit Singh and Pankaj Udas and what is that other guy? Anup Jalota, sell by the thousands and millions. But a pure subject message of Srimad Bhagavatam, devotees have to beg people, please, Srila Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada's tapes. This is the situation in today's world. And Mahaprabhu knows that. That is why he's saying, na dhanam, na janam, na. That is the pre-qualification. That is dequalification. In order to be as more humbler than a blade of grass, tolerant than a tree, and not expecting respect for the self and giving respect to all. Because we are attached to all these material attributes and material way of life. Excuse me. And on our own accord, we are not able to do that. That's why Mahaprabhu is praying in the next verse. Now I know that I'm supposed to refrain from all these things if I want to really advance, spiritually advance, but I'm not able to do so. Ai Nanda Tanuja Kim Karo. Oh, my dear son of Nanda Maharaj, in desperation. Just like when we are, sometimes we find in a situation where we are driving, and in the Western countries also we see that on the signal lights, that person is with a placard, homeless, need food. He will knock on the window for $1, for 50, give me a quarter, 25 cents. We see that even when we go to India, on signal lights, they're knocking on the glass door. Oh Baba, oh Baba, oh Seth. Ai Nanda Tanuja. Do we have that mood of begging? I'm not able to do it on my own. I'm in this material world. Your Maya is so strong, oh Krishna. Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita very clearly. Maya Maya Duratya. Very difficult to surmount. It is my Maya, not some Tom, Dick, Jack and Harry's. It is my Maya. Je maam prapadyante Maya tarantite. So prapadyante means coming, begging, taking shelter. Ai nanda tanuja kim karo. Patita maam vishame bhavam buddha. I am so drowning in this material ocean. Kripaya tava pada pankaj stita duli. Please show some mercy on this person, on this kimkar. We explained the meaning last time of the kim. Kim in Sanskrit means what, kar means do. What can I do? And a servant only, a genuine servant will always be ready at the call and beck of the master. A genuine servant will understand the heart of the master. Even without asking, he will serve the master according to his pleasure and his needs. That is the meaning of Kimkar. And these, all the Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Srila Gaur Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, Baldev Vidya Bhushanji, Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad, all these personalities, Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Narottam Das Thakur, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, all these great personalities that we find in the Gaudiya Acharyas, they're all Kimkaris. They're all Manjaris. Manjaris and Kimkaris, they are the same. Always excited to serve Radha Krishna under the guidance of the senior gopis like Lalita and Vishakha. One seva is not finished, and yet, what can I do more? What can I do? How can I serve? How can I serve? Shall I do this? Shall I do that? So much excitement they have. Therefore, they are called Kimkaris. So here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is taking that mood of a Manjari. Please try to understand this. And that is the real bhav of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, ultimately, to become das, servant of these Manjaris. Like Narottam Das Thakur says in his bhajan, Radha Krishna Pranamora Jugala Kishora, in Prarthana, in the book called Prarthana. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daser Anudas, Seva Adhikara Diye Narottam Das. Narottam Das writes that, oh, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu. And who is Chaitanya Prabhu? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radha Krishna Nahi Anna. So the Dasanu Das of the servants of Radha Krishna, please give me that adhikar. Please give me some service. Before we started today, now every Sunday we will be singing the Tulsi Aarti. So please, you can Google it and you will find it, or I can send it on our group, the Tulsi Aarti. Tulsi ji is also non-different from a Kimkari, because she is always ready to Vrinda Devi or Tulsi Devi. She is always ready to serve Krishna in his amorous pastimes, especially how to enhance the Leelas. She's always thinking of new ways for the pleasure of Radha and Krishna. So Govindas is praying in this Tulsi Aarti, Seva Adhikara Diye Karo Nija Dasi. Ei Nivedana Dharo Sakhir Anugata Karo. Seva Adhikara Diye Karo Nija Dasi. Tulsi Krishna Prayasi Namo Namo. Sakhir Anugata Karo. Anugata means let me follow in the footsteps of the Sakhis of Radharani to serve them. Same thing Narottam Das Thakur is saying. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dase Anudas. Seva Adhikara Diye Narottam Das. Same thing Govindas is asking Tulsi Devi, Vrinda Devi. Moroy Abhilash, Vilas Kunje Diyovas, Nayane Heribo, Sada Jugala Ruparasi, Ei Nivedana Dharo, Sakhira Anugata Karo, Seva Adhikara Diye Karo Nija Dasi. Give me the Seva Adhikar. Give me the opportunity to serve Radha Krishna. Karo Nija Dasi, make me your own servant. And once Tulsi Maharani makes you own servant, then one is very well established in the highest mood of bhakti. That is why Tulsi Krishna Prayasi. If Tulsi Maharani says this devotee is okay, Radha Krishna will immediately accept. Therefore, Tulsi Krishna Prayasi. Tulsi ji is very, 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 very dear to Krishna. Anuprabhu has just posted the Tulsi Aarti. There is more than one. So just make sure, Anuprabhu, it says Namo Namo Tulsi Krishna Prayasi Vraje Radha Krishna Seva Pao Ei Abhilashi. Je Tomar Sharana Loe Tar Vancha Purna Hoy Kripa Kori Koro Tare Vrindavanavasi. So just make sure that it is the same one, because there is more than one Tulsi Aarti that we have. So thank you. This is the easiest and but it has the highest essence. Ainanda tanuja kim karo patitamam vishame bhavam budao kripaya tava pada pankaja stita dulim. My dear Krishna, if you accept me as a particle of dust at your lotus feet, then I know that I'm very safe. I'm very safe because I will be endowed with the service of Radha Dasyam. Krishna Kripa means one gets the highest of the highest Kripa is Radha Dasyam. Because Krishna knows Radharani is always making the highest endeavor to please him. And anybody who is trained under Radharani or anybody who serves Radharani is indeed blessed. Therefore, please, O Krishna, bless me by considering me as a particle of dust at your lotus feet. A particle of dust generally sticks to the lotus feet of Krishna. So sticking to the lotus feet means, I explained last time, another new Sfurti means Prabhupada. One who has stuck to the lotus feet of Prabhu is known as Prabhupada. One who has surrendered to the lotus feet of Prabhu, Sri Krishna, is Prabhupada. Prabhupada is an exalted title. Rup Goswami Prabhupada, Sanatan Goswami Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Because they are completely surrendered, therefore they are Prabhupada. They have already obtained a position at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Ainanda tanuja kim karo. That is the perfect example that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is quoting in that particular verse. And here, the internal reasons actually start manifesting of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I mentioned the external reason is the Mahamantra giving the free treasure of Krishna Prem. No matter how badly we chant the holy name with offenses or with the semblance of the holy name as Naam Abhas, eventually Shuddha Naam will come to us, and eventually the holy name will bestow the fullest mercy, or rather the fullest mercy is always present, but we will be able to accept it in its fullest. Presently, we are not able to accept it in the fullest. The giver is giving, but we are not able to accept. We are not able to accept the fullest. The Shreya Kairava Chandrika has not happened to us, yes. The day it happens, when the holy name, when everything negative is eradicated, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Bhava Mahadava Agni Nirvapanam. Everything that is negative, that is gone. All the anarthas have disappeared. And we have become a wonderful, unlimited source of accepting the unlimited kripa of Nityananda Prabhu, of Ananga Manjari, Radharani's younger sister in the Madhurya Rasa. Then our hearts will blossom in the cooling moonlight of Ananga Manjari, Baldev Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu's mercy that radiates directly from those moon rays. They enter our heart, and then the lily, the white blossoming lotus at the night that only blossoms in full moonlight, will blossom. And our hearts are so cleansed at that point that we are able to radiate that mercy unto others. 100% of it, as it is. And then we get that Vidyavadu Jivanam. We have obtained it. That Vidyavadu means the amorous Madhurya Ras of Radha Krishna through Ananga Manjari. That transcendental knowledge of Kimkaris, of the gopis, how they are serving Radha and Krishna, how they are serving Srimati Radhika, how they are serving for the divine couple's pleasure. That is Vidyavadu Jivanam. And it constantly increases Ananda Ambudhi. So there are so many facets. I know there were 6 or 7 sessions for the first verse. But as the mood comes into the internal mood, the inspiration is coming to explain the internal moods, even in the first verse, and sometimes, trying to connect the dots to the mood of Mahaprabhu, which is Madhurya Ras, which he's trying to obtain, because the internal reason of Mahaprabhu was what? 3 in nature. Everybody must know this. I have repeated this so many times, and that will be to our advantage if we remember it. First reason, external, to give Harinam freely without considering qualification. At the end of this session today, I will be asking this. So please, if somebody needs to make a note, mental or written, because this is the essence of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, or the highest theism. There's nothing beyond this. Trust me on this part. So Mahaprabhu is Radha Krishna, is Krishna in the mood of Srimati Radharani. He came here, he spoke the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita about surrendering. That was the main message. But how to surrender? He became his own devotee, and he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach bhakti. And the best way to learn bhakti, to understand the process of bhakti, and actually be a part of the process of bhakti is through the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Radha Krishna, they know that that is the best ticket or the rocket launcher that will take you to Golok Vrindavan. And they are giving, Mahaprabhu is giving the highest treasure that nobody has given. Anarpita Chirada Charinam Karunaya Avatirno. Anarpita, never ever before given before by any avatar. Not even Nandan Krishna. When he came in Dwapar Yuga, he did not give that. So, first reason, external, Harinam. That will lead to each and everyone that opportunity to get the highest, which is Krishna Prem, Krishna Namadhan, Krishna Premadhana. Internal reasons of Nandanandan Krishna, why he became Mahaprabhu. We had already explained that Leela, the curse of Vishaka Sakhi. But other than that, 3 reasons. I know I'm very sweet. I want to taste my own sweetness from the perspective of Radharani. 1. Number 2, the happiness that Radharani derives when she is in my association, or when even I'm not present, even in Vipralambha or in separation. The happiness and distress both give a certain pleasure. Even the distress or the separation, it enhances the love. It enhances the union. So what does she feel? That happiness that she derives, I want to taste that. Nandan. And the third reason, the love of Radharani is incomparable. I want to make it famous. Radhara Mahima Prema Rasasima Jagata Janata Ke Jadi Gaur Na Hoito. If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had not come, how would have the whole world known about Radharani's Prem and Prema Rasasima, the ultimate prem or the ultimate bhakti. Excuse me. Now, when Nandanandan came as Mahaprabhu, it is not automatic that he had obtained that mood. He had to do a lot of tapasya. Last 12 years of his life, he locked himself in the Gambhira in Jagannath Puri. And he chanted the Mahamantra non-stop, like a madman. Because the Mahamantra is just not Krishna himself. Lest we forget, there is Radharani at the top of it. And there are so many other servitors of Radharani, the gopis, etc., the manjaris. They're all present in that word Hare or Hara. So Nandanandan is taking shelter of them in his internal mood in Jagannath Puri without disturbance. Because when he preached the Mahamantra, 24 years of his life, he went all over at Padyatra, all over Bharatvarsh, giving the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But now it was time for his own prayojan, for his own goal. And he took the help of two associates, Rai Ramanand and Sarup Damodar Goswami, who are none other than Lalita and Vishakha in Jagannath Puri. Who knew his mood? They knew what he wanted. And obviously Lalita and Vishakha could help because they are the eternal associates. Wherever there is Radha Krishna, the Jugal Sarkar, Lalita, Vishakha, and the other Sakhis are and the Manjaris are always there present. So who else could Krishna Nandanandan lean on? He had to lean on these two great exalted friends of Radharani. And that's why now he's crying, the internal mood. The external mood we have explained. Ai Nanda Tanuja Kim Karo, for the sadhak, for us. But here he has already got that mood of the gopis. So now the gopis are praying to Krishna. Ai Nanda Tanuja Kim Karo. Do not give us this pain. Do not give us this separation. It is unbearable. Please keep us. We are insignificant, but please keep us as a particle of dust at your lotus feet. We are entering into the Vraj Bhav here, which is very secret. It is there, but one has to have the kripa of the acharyas who have so nicely explained. And then when we enter into today's verse number 6, that mood has to be there. Nayanam galadashru dharaya, vadanam gadgada rudaya gira, pulakir nachitam vapu gada, tavanama grihanesha bhavishyati. In verse 6, Mahaprabhu is saying, when will that time come? Nayanam galad ashru dharaya, when there will be streams of tears that will be coming out of my eyes. Vadanam, my throat, gadgada rudaya gira, when I chant the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When will my voice be choked? Pulakir nichitam vapu kada. On my body, the hairs will stand on an end. Horripilation. When the hairs, like in the Guruvastakam, when the pure Gurudev is chanting, the pure Acharya is chanting the holy names, what does that happen? What does happen? Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad is describing it. We sing it every day in the Mangalarti. Romanchakam Pashru Taranga Bhajo Vande Guru Sri Charnar Shri Vigra आराधना नित्य नाना श्रृंगार तन मंदिर मार्जनादो युक्तश्च भक्तश्च ज्योति वंदे गुरु श्री चरणारविंदम। महाप्रभु कीर्तन नित्य गीत वादित्र माद्यान मनुसोर सेना रोमांच। रोमांच मीन्स द सेम थिंग हियर, पुलकीर निचितम। Romanch means when the hairs they stand, we get those goosebumps, we say, right? Something similar, but in a very ecstatic way. Pulakir nichitam. Vapu, my body, my arms, my limbs. Kada, when will that happen? So now here again the external mood of the sadhak, the bhakta. Tava nama grihane bhavishyati. When will this happen in the future? When will be that day that when I'm chanting the Maha Mantra, when I'm taking the holy name, streams of tears will fall from my eyes, they will flow. My throat will be choked. I won't be able to even properly pronounce the holy name. When will the hairs on my body they stand on an end? Tava naam grihane bhavishyati. Tava means, oh Krishna. In the Bhakti Rasam Sindhu, it is mentioned, and I think I've mentioned this many times, but again, I will mention this. There are 9 different stages. The 9th stage is the highest considered, which is Krishna Prem. And how do we get there? First, we have some faith. Adu Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha, Atha Bhajana Kriya, Tato Anartha Nivritti Syat, Tato Nishtha, Ruchis, Tata Asaktis, Tato Bhavas, Tata Prema, Abhyutan Chanti, Sadhakam Ayam Premam, Pradurbhave Bhavet Krama. Rup Goswami's Bhakti Rasam Sindhu has described the different stages. First, we have some faith, we go to the temple. Then we get the association of the sadhus or the Vaishnavas. Atha bhajana kriya, and then they tell us what is good for our spiritual life and what is not good for our spiritual life. That is called bhajana kriya. Like Srila Prabhupada, what is bhajan kriya? Is chant the holy names, read books like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, associate with devotees, deity worship, do some nice Archa Vigraha worship at home. And whenever you have time, spend your time in different places of tirtha. That is bhajan kriya. Also, bhajan kriya is, those are the do's. What are the don'ts? Bhajan kriya is no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex. Striyam dutam panam shunam yatra dharma chaturvida. So they tell us that's what, and then if you're serious, chant minimum 16 good rounds. Surrender to a bona fide spiritual master. Get connected to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through initiation. And when that happens, over a period of time, when we do our bhajan kriya correctly and nicely, then it will be tato anartha nivritti. All that is bad in our heart will disappear. Cheto darpana marjanam. The first verse of this Chaitanya Shikashtakam, we will experience that. Anartha nivritti. All that we have carried since many, many lives will disappear, all the dirty things. The different illusions, the different offenses, the weakness of the heart, and even the tendency for bhukti, mukti, siddhi, and kama. Bhukti means material enjoyment. Siddhi means to obtain material perfections like magical powers. And kama, material lust or attachment. Bhukti, mukti, siddhi, and liberation. Even liberation. Bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kami, sakala ashanti. This is in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. They will never get the true peace. Sakala, all these are Shanta, opposite of peace. They will never be at peace. So all these different anarthas will be eradicated. And then we will enter into the next stage of Nishtha, where we are fixed in our Krishna consciousness. Ruchi, genuine taste. Tato asaktis, we are so attached to Krishna, to Krishna's devotees, to Krishna's seva. And then we will enter the stage of bhav. So this particular verse is in connection of how to obtain that bhav. Please try to understand this verse is when will that day come when whenever I'm chanting the holy names, tears will flow from my eyes. Yes, Krishna Bhakti Nishkam Ateva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakala Shanta. So the 8th stage, which is bhav stage, is what is being described here, the symptoms. When one is able to obtain that, and then the 9th stage will be the Krishna Prem. Sadhakamayam Premnam Pradurbhave Bhayat Krama. Krama means this is the order. But Rup Goswami has explained right from the stage of some faith to the stage of obtaining Krishna Prem. And there are 9 characteristics of bhav, which is the second last stage. It is mentioned that this is also in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Shantir avyartha kalatvam viraktair mana shunyata asha bandha sama utkantha namagane sadaruchi asaktistat guna akhyane प्रीतिस्तत् वसति स्थले इति आदयो अनुभावय स्युर जत भवान अंकुरे जने. So here there are 9 different symptoms that Rup Goswami has mentioned of somebody who has obtained that stage of bhav. Shanti. So the first is always, although there is any cause for agitation, the person who has attained that stage is always at peace. He's never agitated. Avyartha kalatavam. What that means is basically he does not waste his time. Avyartha. Vyartha means to uselessly waste one's time. Kalavata. Kal means time. Always is whatever time he spends, it is to direct it towards the cultivation of bhakti. The third symptom of bhav is virakti. He is detached from material sense objects. The fourth symptom is mana shunyata, zero, which Mahaprabhu has already mentioned in the 3rd verse. Amanena, zero respect for the selves. Mana shunya. Shunya means zero. Zero pridelessness, not expecting any respect for the self. And he's got this, and the 5th one is Asha Bandha. Asha Bandha means, Asha means that desire or that firm hope of obtaining Krishna. The 6th symptom of bhav is Utkantha. Utkantha means the intense desire to obtain Krishna. The 7th symptom is Namagane Sadaruchi, relishing a taste to chant the holy name. Yes, this is all about the holy name. And Namagane, Namagane means the holy names, the group of holy names, Gane, Sadaruchi, always having lot of taste, always Sada Ruchi. The 8th symptom of bhav is Asakti stad guna akhyane. Asakti means complete attachment. Tada means, oh Krishna. Guna means your transcendental quantities, akhyane, etc. Complete, like complete attachment for hearing and chanting the holy names. And the ninth symptom is Preeti Stad Vasati Sthale, always showing love and attachment of the places of pilgrimage where the Lord, where the Krishna enacted his leelas or pastimes. That is the constitutional nature of bhav, which is the second last stage before Krishna prema. Suddha sattvas, which is Atma, prema surya amsha, samyak bhag, ruchi bis chitta, mar swayama kruda aso bhav uchyate. Bhakti Rasam Siddhu further explains that one who has attained bhav, the heart becomes melted because of that taste in Krishna consciousness. And there is intense longing to obtain Krishna. And what was previously done in sadhana bhakti, meaning what we are doing now, that becomes bhav bhakti. And the primary characteristic of bhav is that it is a phenomenon that actually constitutes something known as Vishuddha Sattva. Now, Vishuddha means beyond even the highest purity. It is called Vishuddha Sattva. That means it is the self-revealing agency of the internal potency that comprises of Chitta Shakti, Haladini Shakti and Sandhini Shakti. So, Sri Krishna in Golok Vrindavan represents the Samvit Shakti. Baldev Prabhu represents the Sandhini Shakti. And Radharani represents the Haladini Shakti. So when one gets the mercy of all these three, one is considered in the Vishuddha Sattvam. And at that time, this means that the bhav is completely beyond the influence of material nature. A person who is situated at that stage, the second last stage, is beyond the three modes of material nature. The three modes of material nature cannot touch that person. And it is compared, Surya Saman, compared to a ray of the sun of Prem Bhakti. So when we get that stage of Bhav Bhakti, we have already obtained a ray of that sun, which is compared to Krishna Prem. So in Bhav Bhakti, we get that glimpse of Krishna Prema. It is mentioned again in the Bhakti Rasam Sindhu, Premastu Pratham Avastha Bhava iti abhidhiyate satvika swalpa matra syur atra ashru pulakdaya dhyayam bhagvata padamboja yugamatada ishat vikrimayam atma sardra drishtir adbhuta aso. The initial stage of Krishna Prem is called Bhav. I'm telling you the essence of this particular verse. And in this stage, various transformations take place in, when the devotee is in ecstasy, which is arising from this Vishuddha Sattva, where there is no tinge of materialism or the control of the Maya on it. And at that time, what happens? Tears flow from the eyes, hairs stand on the edge on their body, and all these different astasattvic vikars, they happen on them, and they're observed, on those persons that have this sattvic bhavs. So, when Prabhupada would not show that in public, one time Prabhupada chanted just before giving the class Jai Radha Madhav, and at that time, somehow or the other, he went into this Shuddha Sattvam. And the devotees who was sitting close by could see this hair standing on his body, and tears were flowing from his eyes. And he could not even chant Jai Radha Madhav. He was faltering in his voice. So generally, Pure devotees will never display that in public. And it is not even advised. They control themselves so much. Even Prabhupada's Gurudev, he's, he's Varshabhanvi Daitaya Das. That was his initiated name given by his Guru Maharaj, Srila Gaurkishore Babaji Maharaj. Uh, like Prabhupada's initiated name given by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur before he took sannyas was Abhay Charnaravinda Das. Right? My initiated name is Satchitananda Das. So, what is the name of Prabhupada's Gurudev? That his Gurudev given? Varsha Bhanvi Daitaya Das. Varsha Bhanvi Devi Daitaya Das. Varsha Bhanvi Devi means Radharani. Uh, the divine daughter of Vrishabhanu, King Vrishabhanu. Varsha Bhanvi Devi Daitaya Das. Daita means very dear. A servant very close, or a servant that is so dear to Radharani. That was the name, the meaning of the name of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's initiated name when he got the Brahma Gayatri Diksha and the Harinam Diksha from Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj. Of course, the name changes one more time at the time of sannyas. So at the time of sannyas, he was known as Saraswati, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And our ISKCON founder Acharya Prabhupada was known as the Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, or AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. AC meaning Abhay Charnaravinda Bhakti, or Abhay Charnaravinda Das Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So, in this state of the Sattvic Bhav, the external transformations or the symptoms that illustrate those wonderful transcendental emotions experienced within the heart, they are called anubhavs. So these are some of the technical terms that Rup Goswami has explained. And anubhavs are 13 in number. And what are these? What are the symptoms of somebody who has obtained that anubhav? First, he has obtained the Shuddha Sattvic Bhav. Then after Shuddha Sattvic Bhav is the anubhav. And there are 13. So there is Nutyam, dancing. Viluhitam means rolling on the ground. So when they're taking the holy names, either they are dancing or they will roll on the ground. Then Geetam, they are singing. Kroshanam, loudly they are crying when they're taking the holy name. Tanumotanam, and there is writhing in the body. The body is like, like when somebody has very high fever, how the body is trembling. So that kind of trembling is happening to their bodies. Tanumotanam. Hunkara, the sixth symptom. They loudly roar, like when they are in ecstasy. Like it is said, Sarva Bhattacharya, the great Acharya in Jagannath Puri, and in the king Pratap Rudra, after getting the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he composed some wonderful Vaishnava songs. And he composed one song that eulogizes or appreciates Advaita Acharya from the Panchatattva. Panchatattva, as you all know, is Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta, Advaita Acharya. So he has written an Advaita Ashtakam, and it starts with the word Hu Hunkar Garjanadi Ahoratra Sadaguna Ha Krishna Radhika Nath Prarthana Na Sadabhava. So like this, Hunkar. Actually, Advaita Acharya roared like a lion in his ecstasy. So that is one of the symptoms. That is symptom number 6 of the Anubhav. He roared, called out loudly. Uchchata Giyate. In a loud voice, he started singing, "Oh Krishna, please come. Oh Krishna, oh Krishna." He roared like a lion, "Please come. It's time for you to come." He called Mahaprabhu like that. Hunkara. Roaring like the roaring. Rambhana. Rambhana means like yawning, or the sound that the cows make. Rambhana Lagi Dhenu. There are some wonderful songs that have been composed by some Vraj devotees, including Surdas. There is one nice morning pad, meaning this is something to wake up. Krishna. In that, the Vaishnava is saying that यह भयो पाछिलो पहर, यह भयो पाछिलो पहर, कान कान कही टेरन लागे, बाबा नंद महर, गोप स्त्री दधी मंथन लागी, गोपपुरे वेणु, उठो बल श्याम, रामभण लागी धेनु, उठो बल श्याम, रामभण लागी धेनु. So like this, early in the morning, Nanda Baba is waking up Krishna. Yaha bhayo pachalo pahar. Now the last pahar, or the last pahar, means we have how many pahars in 24 hours? We have 8 pahars. And one pahar is 3 hours. So pachalo pahar means the day is almost finished. So now you please wake up. Early in the morning, Nanda Baba, he is waking up. Yaha bhayo pachalo pahar. The last pahar has passed. Yaha bhayo pachalo pahar. Kana kana. O Kana, O Krishna, Krishna. Teran lagi Baba Nanda Mahar. And Teran means to call out. Come on, Kana, it's time to wake up. Gopastri Dadi Manthana lagi. Already the gopis are churning the yogurt. Dadi Manthana lagi. Gopapure Venu. And all the cowherd boys are here and they are playing with the flute, Pure Venu, or they are waiting for you to come out. Utho Balasham, please wake up, O strong one. Rambhana lagi dhenu. So now you will understand the meaning of the word Rambhan. It's when the cows are lowing, the sound that the cows make early in the morning, the mooing, moo, Rambhana lagi dhenu. The cows have also woken up. So Rambhan, that kind of sound, if you see a Vaishnava chanting like that with that kind of Rambhan, so that is a symptom, one of the 13 symptoms of the Anubhavas. Then the 8th symptom is Swasa Bhuma. His breathing is swas, his breathing is very heavy while chanting the holy names because of ecstasy. Loka Loka Anapekshita. Loka, it's a tongue twister, sorry. Loka Anapekshita. What that means is he neglects everything around him. One becomes an avdut. What is going on, they don't care around them. They are so much absorbed in their Krishna consciousness in the holy name. So they become loka, anapekshita, neglecting everything, neglecting all people. And lala shrava, sometimes from their mouth, saliva comes out. Lal, we call it lard. So, like when somebody, like sometimes gets a fit, some saliva flows out of the mouth. So lard shrava, drooling happens. The 11th symptom of Anubhav is atahasa. Ata means atishay. Too much laughter. They are so much in either they are seeing some kind of a leela, and when they're chanting the holy name. So uncontrollable laughter. Gurna. Gurna means they're staggering sometimes, like as if somebody is intoxicated. Ah, they're intoxicated with the holy name. And also, the 13th symptom that Rup Goswami describes is hikka. In Hindi, we call it hichki, hiccups in English. So they get a fit of hiccups while they're chanting. So these are the anubhavas. So there are again further in the Bhakti Rasam Sindhu, one who has attained that bhav stage has these 8 sattvic bhavas or sattvic vikars. Stambha sweda, romancha, swabhedo, atha veputha, vaivaryam, archu pralaya iti asto sattvika smrita. Stambha means they become stunned. They become like a statue. Like these Sattvic vichar happened to Krishna. Where? In Dwarka. Who else? Baldev Prabhu and also Subhadra Devi. That's why what we see today is the form of Lord Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra Devi are of these Sattvic bhavas. When they heard about Vrindavan, they became stamba, they became like a statue. Shveda, perspiration. Romancha, again the same word, the horripilation or the standing of the hairs on the body. Swara Bheda. Swara Bheda means swar means the voice, and Bheda means faltering. Same thing what Mahaprabhu is saying. Nanam galarda shrudharaya, vadanam gadgada rudaya gira. Faltering of the voice. Kampa, shivering, trembling. Vaivarmya, loss. Vaivarmya means when you lose the color of the body. The body becomes, changes the complexion of the body due to the ashtasattvic bhavas that are the result of the Shuddha Sattvam and the Anubhavas, the 13 Anubhavas. Ashru, lots of tears. Pralaya, all the activities are arrested. Nothing, they can't do anything, as if they are completely helpless. And one loses consciousness. So these are the sattvic bhavas. So we can tell a true sadhu now, based on this description, how many sadhus have we seen our real life like this? That is real Krishna consciousness. So right, so these are some of the high standards that that Mahaprabhu is begging for in this particular verse. Actually, it is us who should be begging. So out of all these symptoms in the sattvic bhavas and the anubhavas, there are 4 that are actually 5 that are more prominent. What is that? Dancing, singing, tears, and standing of the hairs on an end, and faltering of the voice. So that is common, which is the same thing Vishwanath Chakravartipad in his composition of the Guruvashtakam, where he says Mahaprabhu Kirtan Nitya Gita. When Gurudev or the pure Guru, Sadguru, is chanting in ecstasy, glorifying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Kirtan, Mahaprabhu Kirtana, then what are the symptoms? Nitya. He suddenly starts dancing. Gita, he starts singing. Romancha, his hairs stand on an end. Kampan, he starts trembling. Taranga Ashru Bhaja, Taranga Ashru, streams of tears flow from his eyes. So, very nicely, see, Vishwanath Chakravartipad has also, and further we will see that Bhaktivinoda Thakur has mentioned in the Bhajan Rahasya also. So, and Mahaprabhu, who is the crest of the jewel of all instructions, because this Chaitanya Shikashtakam, if one understands this Chaitanya Shikashtakam, then we have understood the real essence of all pure bhakti. We have understood Vraj Bhav. We have understood what Mahaprabhu's heart is. And that is the amazing thing. So he is saying in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prema dhana vina vyartha daridra jivana. Prema dhana vina vyartha daridra jivana. Dashakari betana mora deha prema dhana. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is praying like this. without the wealth of Krishna Prem, you know, maybe I have sadhan, I've got some faith, and I have gone through all this bhajana kriya and ruchi and asakti, but I've still not attained Krishna Prem. I've attained all these 8 stages. But he's saying, Bina Krishna Prema, Bina Prema Dhana, without that treasure of Krishna Prem, which is the highest and the last stage, Vyartha Daridra Jivana, this life of this wretched person, Daridra means wretched, uh, is useless, Vyartha. Uh, Dasha Kari Betana More Deha Prema Dhana. Oh Lord, please accept me as your servant. Which is the same mood in the previous verse. Ei Nanda Tanuja Kim Karo. Please place me as a particle of dust at your lotus feet. So same way he's saying here in this mood, Mahaprabhu, Dasha Kori, Vetana More Deha Prema Dhana. Please give me that Krishna Prem. And today we sang the song, Gitavali song 6 so, of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And in this song, the meaning of the song is so beautiful, which is what Rup Goswami is saying, which is what Mahaprabhu is saying in the Chaitanya Shikashtakam and also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where he's saying, aparādha-phale mama chitta bhelo vajra-sama tuva nama nala bhe vichara. Aparādha-phale mama, due to the results of my past karma, due to the results of my past lives. See, very humble stance our Acharya is there. Chitta bhelo vajra-sama. My consciousness, my heart has become as hard as a thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is supposed to be the strongest, more strongest, even it can break big mountains. So my heart is like so strong, like a thunderbolt. Why? Because of my offenses that I've committed, and due to the result of those offenses, due to my karma from my past lives, my heart has become so hard, like a thunderbolt. हताश होइए हरि तव नाम उच्च कोरी बोरो दुख दाकी बार बार. Hatash means now I feel I am full of hopelessness, no hope. Hatash hoiye hori, O Krishna, tava nama uchcha kori, now I am loudly singing your names. Boro dukhe daki bar bar, I have seen that in great distress, in great distress, he's saying boro dukhe. Boro dukhe means in great misery, in great distress, I'm calling you. Daki bar bar. Daki means, daki in Bengali means call, and bar bar means again and again. So like this Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the 6th song of the Gitavali, which represents the essence of this verse, that Nayanam Galadashru Dharaya, he is praying like this. Then he's saying, Dino doya moya karuna nidhana bhava bindu dei rakho parana. Dina doya moy karuna nidhan. He's addressing Krishna, you are karuna nidhan. You are the bestower of mercy. And Dina doya moy, you bestow so much mercy, on the people. You're so compassionate towards the fallen souls. And you're the origin of all mercy. Bhava bindu, please give me that bhav. So again, to remind everyone, this particular verse is begging to get that bhav stage. Amongst the previous 6 stages, the 7th stage being bhav, that is the mood. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur is also praying that when will I get that bhav stage? Because before bhav, if I don't get bhav, I'm not going to get Krishna prema. I'm not going to get that true Vraj prem. So that is why he's praying, Dina doyamoy karuna nidan bhava bindu dei rakho paran. Please keep me at your lotus feet, O Krishna, O life and soul of the fallen souls. Please, give me that mercy of bhav, or a drop of the bhav of the stage, the second last stage. Please give me a drop of that second last stage of bhav. Then he further says, कब तुवा नाम उच्चारणे मोर नयने झरे बो दार दार लोर. Kava tuva name ucharane more. When I take your the holy names, when I utter the holy names, when nayane jarabo, when there will be streams of tears in my eyes, dar dar Lord, and when will I be by drooling saliva, dripping like this. So these are the different symptoms that Rup Goswami has described of bhav, anubhav, etc. And the Vishuddha Sattvam in the Bhakti Rasam Sindhu, which Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying. Further, he's saying, Gada Gada Swara Kante Upajabo Mukhe Bolo Adha Adha Bahirabo. Gada Gada Swara. When will my voice start faltering? Choke with emotion. Upajabo. Mukhe bolo, with my mouth, with my words. Adha adha bahirabo. I with garbled sound. Adha means garbled sound due to the ecstasy that comes, emanates while taking the holy name. Gada gada. So then he says, Pulake bharobo sharira hamara Shveda kampa stamba hobe bar bar. Pulake bharabo. When will my hairs stand on an end on my body? Hamara Shveda kampa. When will I start trembling? Stamba. When will I become so much like a statue? Hobe bar bar. Again and again. Oh Krishna, when will that happen? Sweda, when will I perspire? Sweda kampa stamba habe bar bar. So all these astasattvic vikars, due to the ecstasy in Krishna bhav, when will this happen to me? Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying like this in this song. Then in the sixth verse, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying, Vivarana Sharire Harabu Jnana Nama Samashraye Dharabu Parana. Vivarana Sharire Horur Gyan. When out of divine ecstasy will all my consciousness be lost, and the color of my body will become pale. Nama Samashraya. He uses the word with on Nama Samashray. Nam means the holy name, and Samashray means Samyak Ashray. Samyak Ashray means full surrender, meaning complete Sharanagati with the six limbs of Dainya Atma Nivedan, which is Anukulyana Krishna, Sankalpa, etc. That Bhakti, Hari Bhakti Vilas has mentioned, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, the six limbs of Sharanagati, which we have discussed many times: humility, the surrendering everything, Atma Nivedan, Goptu Devar, and Krishna is my only provider. Everything he is the provider. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palan. Krishna will always protect me. I have full faith. Bhakti Anukulya Karya Karejo Svikar. I will perform activities that are fully conducive to Krishna consciousness or bhakti. And number six, Bhakti Pratikul Bhav Varjan Angikar. Whatever is not conducive to bhakti or to Krishna consciousness, I will give those activities up. So that is the meaning of Samashray, which is exactly analogous to the word Sharanagati. Samyak Ashray iti Samashray. So Vivarana Sharire Harabu Jnana Nama Samashray Dharubu Parana. Like this, taking full shelter of the holy name. When out of divine ecstasy will my consciousness be lost? When I will faint? And when will the color of my body will be discolored? And in the last verse of this bhajan, of the sixth bhajan of Gitavali, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Milabo hamara kiye ache dina roe bhakti vinod mati hina. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, roe bhakti vinod mati hina. Again, he is taking such a humble position. I'm crying. Rove. Bhakti Vinod. Bhakti Vinod is Thakur is crying. Mati Hina. Without any good intelligence. Milibo Hamare Kiye Ache Din. When will I get this? When this day will be mine when I will obtain this bhav. Because you know what? If I don't obtain bhav, I will not obtain Krishna prem. And what Mahaprabhu said earlier in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that if I do not get Krishna prem, then I am a wretched soul who has not obtained anything in my life. Prema dhana vina vyartha daridra jivana. Mahaprabhu said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that without this Krishna prem, uh, my days are useless. This daridra jivana, I am wretched. Uh, Dasa kori vetana more deho prema dhana. So prior to prem, please give me this prem dhan. Please give me this treasure of Krishna prem. But prior to that, he's praying in this to get the mood of bhav, and that is the same summum bonum of this particular verse. In the same mood, Bhakti Rasam Sindhu, the verses that we went through, the song of Gitavali that Bhakti Vinod Thakur writes, is the same essence that the devotee is praying. Mahaprabhu is praying to obtain that bhav for the sadhak on our behalf, to learn how to pray when we will. The player is an example. It is mentioned that it is the example of Lalsa Mai Vigyapati. Vigyapati means a kind of a very fervent prayer with a lot of humble humility and submissiveness, with a lot of submissiveness. Tongue twister again. Submissiveness. So three, and like that, there is, when we are submissive, there are three kinds in lalsa mai. Lalsa means that great desire, combined with the mood of humble prayer. So the first one that has been explained by Thakur Bhakti Vinod is sama prarthna atmika, a prayer with whole heart, samyak prarthna, which is the same thing as Sharanagati, which we explained. A prayer with wholehearted submission of mind, body, and everything to the Lord. Manasa deha geha jo kichumor arpi lutua pade nanda kishore. This is a prayer for the awakening of bhav. Bhav stage, or the second last stage before prem, is also known as rati. It's the stage of rati. Rati and bhav, they are the same thing. So that kind of vigyapati, or that kind of fervent prayer of lalsamai, that longing is needed in the heart. We need it, that desire, just like in Srimad Bhagavatam in the second verse, it is krutavi shusrubi tatshanat. One has to be desirous to serve Srimad Bhagavatam, and if one has just that sincere desire, then one can arrest Krishna within their heart. Tat Shanat, instantly. These are the words of Srimad Bhagavatam, the second verse. And Srila Prabhupada has very nicely given the purport. So when you get time, you can revisit the second verse, first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually speaking, that is the first verse. Chronologically, it is the second. The first verse, Janmadi Yasya, is the Mangalacharan that invokes the auspiciousness. Vyasdev is invoking the auspiciousness, just like how we say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, or we sing Harinam Sankirtan before the Hari Katha, either before speaking or hearing Hari Katha, so that we can get that auspicious mood and we can get the blessings. That blessings are invoked. So that first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is chronologically in order, labeled as number 2, is Dharma Projita Kaitavatra. In that particular verse, at the tail end of the verse, Krutubi Sushrubi Tatshana. These two words, Krutubi and Sushrubi, are very important. So, which are analogous to the Lalsamai spirit that Bhaktivinoda Thakur has expressed in his bhajan. Then the second in the Lalsamai Vigyapati is Dainya Bodhika. One should have such an insignificant worthlessness. One should feel worthless. See, the problem with is because we don't have that humility, we don't feel worthless. And in every word, in every letter of the Acharya's poetry and their kirtans or their padas, it is full of that Dainya Bodhika. Dainya means humility, and Bodhika. Bodhika means that kind of consciousness or intelligence. Bodha. Bodha means, so that kind of consciousness, Dainya Bodhika. Lalsamai, the kind of prayer that applies only to one in whom has got Ratibha. So that Lalsamai prayer who can do that? So our Acharyas explain that one who has reached that Ratibha can continuously be in the Lalsamai stage. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur has also written bhajans in Lalsa Mai. And if you look at the book Prarthana and Prem Bhakti Chandrika of Narottam Das Thakur, just to name a couple, there is the sections of bhajan Lalsa. So those are a very high stage. If we study those bhajans, they are of a very high category. Like in one of the bhajan Lalsa Mai stage, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in one of the bhajans, if I can remember a few lines, देखिते देखिते भूलिबो वा कबे निज स्थूल शरीर नयने हेरिबो व्रजपुर शोभा नित्य चित आनंदमोय वृषभानुपुरे वृषभानुपुरे जन्म होइलो वृषभानुपुरे जन्म होइलो यावते विवाह होइबे वृषभानुपुरे जन्म होइलो यावते विवाह होइते देखिते देखिते भूलिबो वा कबे निज स्थूल sharira. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his, now what we are saying here is that basically this bhajan lalsa, this lalsamai spirit can only come to those who have entered that mood of bhav stage. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur in that stage has composed some bhajans also. And one of the bhajans that really I love personally is this one particular bhajan where he says, Dekhite dekhite bhulibo vakabe nija sthula sharira. When, oh, I have this bhajan lalsa, I have this fervent prayer that when will this day come when I will forget completely this gross body? Dekhite bhulibo vakabe nija sthula sharira. Nija means my own, that I will completely forget my bodily concept. I will be situated on a transcendental platform. And what will happen next? It is my fervent prayer. Well, he's saying that Vrishabhanupure Janama Hoilo. I wish to be born in Barsana. Vrishabhanupure. Vrishabhanupur means Barsana. The place where King Vrishabhanu, along with Radharani, she spent her young days in Barsana. So I would like to become a Sakhi of Radharani. I would like to be born there right from my childhood. I would like to be playing with Radharani. I would like to be associating with Radharani. I would like to serve Radharani. Just like how the coward boys, they like to serve Krishna, even in the Bal Sakha Roop. Similarly, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying like this. And when we grow up, when Radharani grows up, she gets married, then I will also obviously grow up and I will also get married. So I have this Lalsa Mai Vigyapati. It is my fervent prayer that Vrishabhanupure Janama Hoilo Yavate Viva Hoye. Because Radharani got married, once she got married, she left Barsana and she had to go to her husband's village, which is known as Yavat. It is not too far. When we go for Vrajmandal Parikrama, that Yavat comes also. So devotees go to all these places. Yeah, this is what is recommended by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in the Ekadashi Bhajan, which we call Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajane Anukula, where he says that Gaur Amar Jai Sabasthane Heribo Ami Pranay Bhakata Sange. I will go to all the places of pilgrimage where my Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu obviously went to all the places of pilgrimage where the Lord himself. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is indicating not only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the sannyasi Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he's also indicating Radha Krishna, because Radha Krishna is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it also indicates Vraj, because Radha Krishna performed their specific beautiful amorous pastimes in Vraj. And who will I go with? Pranay Bhakata Sange. Those who understand the amorous love of Radha and Krishna, those who understand the Madhurya Rasa, not just by paying some guide who will quickly fatafat as a tourist. We sit in the taxi or the scooter and they will take you around, or some devotee who is simply motivated by some Lakshmi will take you around in Vraj Mandal. No. So this is the mood. That's why whenever we had the opportunity to do some service in Raj Mandal, whatever little we know, and devotees sometimes approached us that can you take us to these places. So the first thing I would tell them that we have to forget our tourist mentality. We are not going to see Taj Mahal or Qutub Minar. When we are in Raj, our bhav should be completely in the mood, just like at least we should try to be in that consciousness where we do not seek for hunger or thirst, or we do not seek stop at 20 places to take photographs. No, 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 no. Then it will spoil the mood. you know, the mood should be wherever we are. If we are going for parikrama, let's say Govardhan parikrama, we start with Radha Kund. Then in Radha Kund alone, if we are very sincere, it will take a couple days just to do the proper parikrama of Radha Kund. If we go to each and every spot of the great Vaishnavas, when we go to Radha Kund, the first thing that we do offer is just on the Govardhan parikrama, we offer our obeisances and offer prayers to Radha Kund. The prayers of Radha Kund are so nicely composed by none other than Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. We should be uttering those wonderful prayers. Then we go on, we offer our as we move on, we go to Kundaleshwar Mahadev, we offer him pranams. Then we are devotees of ISKCON. Then most of the people miss this part. They never go to Sarup Damodar Goswami's Samadhi, which is right there across. In the first thing, if you really see, he was one of our great Vaishnava acharyas, I would say. Prabhupada was very fond of him. He was not only very well accomplished in his material life. Dr. Thodam Singh, he was a physicist, but he was a pure devotee. In our movement, we do have certain devotees, and all those pure devotees, most of them, they have disappeared. Somehow or the other, Krishna has taken them away. Gaur Govind Maharaj Ji, Sarup Damodar Goswami Maharaj, they are very high caliber. I tell you, they have understood completely, not on a external platform, these Vaishnavas. As a matter of fact, if you hear this bhajan that I just sang, Dekhite Dekhite Bhulibo Wakabe, that will give you a glimpse of Sarup Damodar Maharaj. He has sang it so amazingly. Each and every word that he has sung, and there is a wonderful CD before he left a few years ago. It came out from his heart. We had the good fortune of serving him in 1999 in Cape Town. That's the first time I met him in Cape Town at the Parliament of World Religions. The Parliament of World, the Dharma Vishwa Sabha, the first time it took place was in Chicago in 1899, where Swami Vivekananda had come, and the famous speech at the Chicago Art Institute happened. And then after that, for 100 years, it did not happen. So then in Cape Town, after 100 years, and it also commemorated 100 years of the Parliament of World Religions. So we were representing, because the headquarters are in Chicago, we had the opportunity. So we represented ISKCON in some capacity. And our service was also to serve the Vaishnavas and also do some press reporting from the Vaishnava perspective of what the so-called leaders from the world around and the true Vaishnava leaders, when they brought their message. So I had, and the reason why I'm sharing this, so that next time you go to Radha Kund, we should not miss the samadhis of the Mahantas. Uh, Everybody rushes to the samadhi of Raghunath Das Goswami, which is great. We must go. But there are dasanu das of Raghunath Das Goswami. And when we understand that bhav and that spirit, then we will be doubly blessed. So, he's such a big scientist. When he was doing his PhD, he said, Prabhupada, I want to give up everything and I want to join the movement. Prabhupada said, no, you have to complete your PhD, because you know bhakti very well. And when you are such an esteemed person, people will listen to you. You will have a lot of weightage. So then on Prabhupada's instruction, he completed his PhD and he continued with his, and he is one of the founders of the Bhakti Vedanta Institute. The Bhakti Vedanta Institute is a scientific wing of ISKCON, where there is a lot of very scholarly persons who have a very good scientific background, like Rasraj Prabhu, who is also Dr. Gomatham, that's his name, Dr. Gomatham, Rasraj Prabhu, Prabhupada disciple. So he's also a scientist. And then there is a few others, very good scientific, because explaining theism from the background of science is also very important in today's world. And that's exactly what I personally witnessed with his grace, his divine grace. I call him his divine grace because he certainly is deserved to be called that. Sarup Damodar Goswami Maharaj. When he went and he opened up with the keynote speaker as a keynote speaker in Cape Town at the Cape Town University, where there were so many scientists and many people from all. He was in a simple sannyasi dress, and he started such a big scientist, not like flowery words, good morning, gentlemen, or the esteemed participants of the Parliament of World Religions. The first verse he started singing is the verse from the Bhagavad Gita. And he was from Manipur. So he had a very melodious voice, very pahadi. He started singing, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kanshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu madbhakti labhate param. And he went on to sing a couple of verses from the Brahma Samhita. Everybody, many doctors and many big professors, the keynote speaker. Remember, this is not an ordinary thing in the Parliament of World Religions. That's how he started. And then, of course, he went into his speech and the theism and bhakti and all of that. So, and he's so humble, down to earth. Then he used to come to Chicago once a year, and we used to try and serve him to the best of ability, but always smiling. And indeed, Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma, that verse that Krishna speaks in the Bhagavad Gita, 100% applied to Maharaj. Brahma Bhuta, the one who is on a spiritual platform, is always happy. And never once have I seen Maharaj without a smile or a laugh on his face. As a matter of fact, mostly he was laughing. Everything, about everything. That's how he was, such a great personality. And then when I studied some of his likings and the songs that he sang, I said, this is amazing. This is the Bhajan Lalsa Mai Bhava, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Nobody in ISKCON sings those songs. And he sang that. It transported, really, I'm not joking, without any exaggeration, really felt like this is Golok Vrindavan when I was hearing him. And it was simply, like, I believe, strongly inspired directly from Srimati Radharani. Not only the composer Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but the singing itself by Srila Sarup Damodar Goswami. And that his temple, Radha Gopalji, is right there on Radhakund. The first thing that we come across if we go in a clockwise direction, and his samadhi is in the back. He was very simple, and he spent his last days, also, reflecting. So his samadhi and all this, is at Radhakund. So can you imagine his status? So personally, I believe he himself is a Manjari. So all this we can see through the different symptoms that were expressed through his personal life and his liking of his personal bhajan and all those things. So definitely we should offer our obeisances there when we go to Radhakund. And then, of course, we have the Radha Gopinath Mandir, and in there is the Samadhi of Raghunath Das Goswami, and there are many other Mahantas. Of course, now also Anand Das Babaji Maharaj, who just left his body a couple years ago, across from the Samadhi of Raghunath Das Goswami, like that. And then if you go into the little lane, there is Swa Ananda Sukhata Kunj, the residence of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So like this is the meaning of going around, in with Rasik Bhaktas. When we go, we sit down in each and every place and we hear the pastimes of that particular place, glorifying those Vaishnavas, glorifying the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Then we will get benefit. We should never be a tourist. We should keep that tourist mentality away when we are going on Raj Parikrama, whether it is one place or two places, and we should take our time, not to rush. Oh, we need to finish. Today we have to finish Barsana. Today we have to finish Nandgram. Today we have to finish Ter Kadam. Today we have to finish Radhakund. Today we have to finish this. Today we have no. Take time, take time. And if we are fortunate, we will find some Rasik Vaishnavas who can take us around, sing the songs as we go to the different places of I have my good friend here, Nanpran Prabhu, Dr. Nanpran, who is also a Rasik Vaishnavas. And we have had the association, fortune of association with each other whenever we went, you know, different places. We took our time. We sang some bhajans, that whatever little we knew from the scriptures that were written by the Goswamis, or the bhajans by Bhakti Vinod Thakur or Raghunath Das Goswami, singing those wonderful prayers that really brings the mood and that brings the kripa. So this is what Lalsa Mai is. We should have that. Uh, it is said that, in Bhakti Rasam Sindhu, Rup Goswami says, Kadaham Yamuna Tire Namani Tava Kirtayan Udabhaspa Pundrik Akshaha Rachasyami Tandavam. So actually Rup Goswami is quoting Narad Muni, that when will that day come? Narad Muni is expressing his Lalsa Mai, that, O lotus-eyed Lord, O Pundrikaksha, while chanting your holy name. Again, we are talking about the holy name, so these verses are relevant to bring that mood. Kadaham Yamuna Tire, on the banks of the Yamuna river, Namani Tava Kirtayan, taking your holy name, chanting your holy name, singing your glories, Kirtayam. Udbhaspa Pundiraksha, when will my throat choke up? Rachasyami Tandavam, and when will I dance like a Tandav Nrityu, like how Lord Shiva dances in ecstasy? So this is Naradji quoted in Bhakti Rasam Sindhu. When will that day come? Which is the same thing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Nanam Gallada Shrudharaya, Vadanam Gadgad Rudaya Gira, Pulakir Nichitam Vapukada, Tava Nama Grihanesha Bhavishyati. So, like this, these are some of the wonderful moods that we can develop. Uh, of course, one word of caution that, when somebody just cries when they are chanting the holy names, etc., that does not necessarily mean that they are in the second last stage or they have attained a ray of prema. No, because some of them are also imitating. Those who shed tears very easily, just because they are sentimental in nature. And it is the nature of, let's say, for example, females. They're very soft-hearted. Even when we are in some conversation, and when we speak a little bit, a little bit that might be sensitive, it affects women. It may affect people who are sensitive. So naturally, when we see a lot of people, we hear that, they are crying in the katha, and when the holy name is being sung, some people cry. That is good, don't get me wrong, but there's a word of caution that our acharyas give. It does not apply to those who take delight in making a show of symptoms, which actually are actually a product of real rati or bhav stage. So such a display, Bhakti Vinod Thakur and our acharyas say, it is bhav abhas. It's a reflection, or it's a perverted sort of a reflection of the actual bhav. Uh, just like there is an object and there is a shadow. So it is the shadow of the real object, and the real object is bhav, the transcendental second last stage before the final stage of of Krishna Prem. In Bhajan Rahasya also, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has mentioned that Paraspara Anukanthanam, uh, amongst devotees should discuss with each other. Pavanam Bhagavata Yashaha, the purifying glories of Krishna. Pavanam Bhagavat Yashaha, right? Mitho Ratir Mithas Tushtir. Mitho means mutual. Mutually, they should have that rati. That is why it is important that, we should always have association of like-minded devotees, or devotees who are senior in their consciousness, not necessarily by age, but in their consciousness. So ratir, mithas tushtir, then we will get that satisfaction. Nivrittir mitha atmanaha, and the result is mitha, the mutual. We will get that nivrittir. Nivrittir means we will disassociate ourselves from the material mentality mutually. When we are associating with such devotees, and we will get that satisfaction. Smartaha, smartayanscha, constantly remembering and remembering. Mitha, mutual. Uh, Oga, ogo, haram hari. Hari, the Supreme Lord, will take away aga, ogam, even the most sinful reactions. Hari will steal them away from us. Bhakta Sangatya. Sangatya means it will awaken with the association of such devotees. Bhaktya Bibarthi, because those devotees with those realizations possess it. Therefore, they can give. Krishna se tomar, Krishna dite par, tomar shakti ache. So, like this, Utpalakam, with great ecstasy, Tanum, they are able to give. So, in this connection, also, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I will conclude this verse with one verse of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the Bhajan Rahasya. Bhakta Gana Paraspara Krishna Katha Gaya Taherati Tushti Sukha Paraspara Paya Hari Smriti Nije Kore Anyera Karaya साधना उदिते भाव भाव पुलक अश्रुपाय भवोदय कभु कांदे कृष्ण चिंता फले हसे आनंदिते होया अलौलिक अलौलिक बोले नाचे गाए कृष्ण आलो चे सुख पाय लीला अनुभव होय तुष्टिम भूत प्राय. Meaning, Bhakta Gana Paraspara Krishna Katha Gai. Along with the devotees, we should always sing the glories of Krishna. That is one of the meanings of Sankirtan. Samyak Kirtan also means congregational chanting with the devotees, and especially with the devotees who are full of realization. Tahe Rati Tushti. Rati. That Tahe Rati means at that time we will get that Rati stage or Bhav stage. Tushti, we will be satisfied. That satisfaction will be obtained by our soul. Sukha paraspara, and mutually we will enjoy. The devotees will enjoy sukha paraspar. There will be mutual bliss. Hari smriti nije kare. When we are simply nije means Hari smriti nije means Krishna's own devotees, those who are attached to Krishna, that are called nije. When in the company of such devotees, Hari Smrite, Anyera Karaya, and other Krishna conscious activities, with the association of such devotees of Krishna who are considered considered his own, by Krishna his own, sadhane udita bhava pulaka ashrupaye, and then one will get that bhav stage with the hair standing on an air and tears rolling out of their eyes. Bhav uday kabu kande Krishna chinta phale. When will that day come? When will that bhav manifest? When I will be crying, Krishna chinta phale. Krishna chinta means always remembering Krishna. Hase anandita hoy. When I will laugh like a madman, alokika bale. On the strength of this transcendental bhav. Nache gai. When will I dance? When will I sing? Krishna alochane sukha paye. When will I get the 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 uh, uh, the bliss of association of Krishna's remembrance, Leela Anubhave hoy, through the pastimes of Sri Krishna, to stim Bhuta Praya, then I will get full satisfaction when that day comes. So this is Bhajan Rahasya of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's. There are many verses, but I just chose a few ones that were, because of the time constraint. I also wanted to get into the Rath Yatra mood. Next Sunday is the Gundicha Marjan, and Monday is Jagannath Rath Yatra. So we have one more Sunday. I don't know, I think, if I will be able to do proper justice to the last two verses, because they are very deep in its external, from the sadhak's perspective and from the internal perspectives of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I don't know, maybe I will take some suggestions. What should I do? Should I go into Rath Yatra Katha like last year and then continue into the verse number 7 or 8 of whatever is left? Whatever I can complete next Sunday. and then continue after Rath Yatra Katha. So I will take suggestions from the Bhakta Mandal, from the devotees who are present, and maybe based on that, I will try my best to see what we can do. So thank you all very much. So we have just finished verse number 6 uh, of Shri Chaitanya Shikashtakam. Nayana galad ashru dharaya vadana gadgada rudaya gira pulakir nichitam vapu kada tava nama grahane bhavishyati. When will that day come where I will tears, streams of tears will flow from my eyes, where my voice will falter and choke, when my hairs will stand on an end, uh, just by simply uttering your holy names. So next verse is verse number 7 of the Chaitanya Shikashtakam, where the mood of separation is very acute. And in this verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has amazing, it's just a amazing verse, number 7. Um, yes, Hare Krishna. So thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the followers, sincere followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to all the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Shikashtakam ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. So, Anup Prabhu, please go ahead and um, the ending, and then if there's anybody who would like to, make their suggestions and obviously any kind of reflections on this particular verse, that would be great. Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and all Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. On behalf of Bhaktivedanta Bhagavat Group, I thank you all the devotees for attending today's program. First of all, my pranam and thanks to our little devotees Bhivan and Anvita for a very nice chant of Pranami Mantra, Mahamantra, and Dasavatar Stotram. Thank you very much. So today we discussed verse 6 of Chaitanya Shikashtakam. This is the week 18 of on Chaitanya Shikashtakam. Prabhuji nicely explained verse 6, but before that he also covered a little bit on the verse 4 and 5th, and from the beginning, like from verse 1 as well. So the background is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is praying to Lord that I don't have any desire of wealth, I don't have desire of beautiful women, nor any followers. I only want the ahetuka bhakti, birth after birth. I am your servant, and yet somehow I have fallen in the ocean of death and birth. So please pick me up. I am just like a dust of your feet, lotus feet. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as we know, is Krishna in the mood of Radharani. And Mahaprabhu took birth in Kali Yuga as a devotee of Krishna to demonstrate us how the bhava of a bhakta should be, how one should pray. So in verse 6, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is praying, he's saying, when my eyes will be decorated with tears of love, when I chant your holy name, and when my voice will choke up when I chant your holy name. That means we must realize that till we don't feel that type of emotion or ecstasy of bhakti, the tears will come out from our eyes and hairs will of our body will stand up while reciting Mahamantra. Unless our voices choke up during recitation of Mahamantra, we have not reached that state of ultimate consciousness or bhakti. Thank you, Mahaprabhu. Thank you, Satchitananda Prabhu, for explaining nicely those things and enlightening us the Chaitanya's teachings. Few announcement. Today is disappearance of Srivasa Pandit. Srivasa Pandit or Srivasa Thakur was a member of Panchatattva consisting of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his four immediate expansions, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar Pandit, and Srivasa Pandit. Monday, July 5th is Yogini Ekadashi. Please fast from beans and grains. And Tuesday, July 6th is Dwadashi Paran, breaking the Ekadashi of fast from 5:43 to 10:49 a.m. Friday, July 9th is the disappearance of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Also, it's the disappearance of Srila Gadadhar Pandit. Gadadhar Pandit is considered an incarnation of Srimati Radharani. So it is recommended or suggested to fast till noon on this day, Friday, July 9th. Saturday, July 10th is Gundita Marjan. On this day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu washed the Gundicha temple before the Rath Yatra took place. He then took his bath at Indradumna Lake and took prasadam at the garden nearby. So we seek blessings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all these Gaudiya Acharyas for our advancement in pure bhakti. I offer obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhar, Sinabhas, and all other Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas in the line of devotion. Thank you very much, everybody. If you have any questions or reflections, you can ask us. Thank you very much.
So before we actually take the questions, just a quick, if you all don't mind, because I see some of our regular members here. Should I, if I don't finish the 7th and 8th verse next Sunday, which I doubt it's not possible unless I rush through it, and that is not my habit. Do you all want to finish it and then start the Rath Yatra Katha, or would we want to start the Rath Yatra Katha not this Sunday but the following Sunday, and then we can continue into the 7th and 8th verse? So if somebody can just type out their personal answers, that would be great on your own time, and then I will read out the answers of what most of the devotees want, and now we can definitely open up the microphone, questions or comments. Hare Krishna.
I would just like to say thank you for the great explanation, and I appreciate all the time and effort that goes into these talks. I love joining every Sunday. It's excellent.
Thank you so much, Brendan Prabhu. I see you all the time, and I think you most of the time you are at work, and your mood for devotion is amazing, and no matter what, you're there every Sunday, and you are a part of our Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group family, and I'm very happy to have you.
Thank you very much. I also just like to say that the website is amazing. I had a look at the website. I like the content on it. It's it's a really good site.
Yes, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Brendan Prabhu. So yes, Kavita Mataji, I know you had a question. Go ahead, Brendan Prabhu. 1 second, Kavita Mataji. Yes, Brendan.
Oh no, you go ahead.
Go ahead. What you say?
Oh, sorry, no, it was a mistake. Oh, sorry, I was done. Thank you. You go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Brendan Prabhu. Kavita Mataji, please go ahead.
So, Prabhuji, we can hear the Rath Yatra story first and then continue the next week, the week after.
Rath Yatra pastimes also will take 4 weeks, 5 weeks. to hear it, like last year, it took how many weeks? Do you remember, Anup Prabhu or Asim Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhuji, like it took
6 weeks.
Yeah, I think it's around 6 to 7 weeks. But we already have the recordings. We can post the Rath Yatra recordings on the Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group.
Oh, we already have them, Prabhu. So can you display again our website? It's right there behind me. Bhagavat.ca and pureseva.ca.
Yeah.
So if you go there and if you look at the lectures according to topic, you will find Jagannath Rath Yatra. There are 6 sessions. So every session is being recorded and it is being posted on the website. So if one misses it or one wants to hear it at their own leisure, it's available. So that's fine. I mean, let's see what else other devotees have to say.
Yeah.
But did you have any specific question in terms of the today's Chaitanya Shikashtakam or in terms of the topic. Yes, go ahead, Kavita Mataji.
Prabhuji, after Vivan's bhajan, you sang one bhajan immediately after that. So the first page, the first verse was, I don't remember exactly, if somebody can bring it up. So I needed little explanation. Since then, I've been thinking about it. The poet is saying that even I have started chanting and like bhakti, but he doesn't see any change in him, right? So now he has started like singing in the streets or something, like loudly or something. Can you pull up that one, the first one?
Are you
The very
talking about today's bhajan?
today, immediately after Vivan finished his.
Well, immediately after Vivan finished, I sang the bhajan and I even described the entire bhajan today, which was the one from Gitavali, and that was the bhajan by Bhakti Vinod Thakur, where it said the
First
opening words
verse.
were aparādha-phale mama chitta bhelo vajra-sama. Due to the offenses that I have committed
Yes,
in
yes.
in many lifetimes, I'm facing the reactions of my karma, and my heart has become as hard as a thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt.
Is that
Yeah.
the one that you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay, Mata, go ahead.
So same thing. Like, so what is he trying to say?
What he's trying to say is basically there are two things. A pure devotee actually feels what he is writing. And that is something that I've personally never been able to understand. How they can be, when they are on such an exalt. I mean, I understand that part, that because they are more exalted they are, the more humble they are. But considering their level of Krishna consciousness all the time, thinking, feeling, willing, they feel worse than the worst in the entire creation. Like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he feels worse than lower than a worm in a stool. That's the way he feels. So this is something that uh, we will never be able to understand. I'll be very honest, unless we reach that stage. So, like for example, I can give you an example. If somebody says, can somebody describe what does vanilla ice cream taste? Just a simple question. So you can describe all you want. It is white. What is vanilla ice cream? And you can describe all the different manufacturers. And then you can describe the plant vanilla and its extract that is mixed into it. And you can describe its sugar added with some finest cream. But ultimately, one will have to taste it in order to really understand what vanilla ice cream is. So similarly, that bhav that they are in, I don't think we can get a glimpse in a very simple and an external way. But we will definitely actually uh, get a grip on what the level of humility is and what we have yet to achieve as a benchmark, So yes, Bhaktivinoda Thakur feels that, oh, he has appeared in this material world. He doesn't feel that he has appeared to deliver souls, which actually he came to deliver souls. Honestly speaking, he doesn't feel like that. He feels that he came because of his own karmic reactions, because and because of that, because of association with material nature due to many lifetimes, his heart has become so hard like a thunderbolt, that he cannot get that pure bhakti. So then the rest of it follows, that I'm asking for pure bhakti. When will the day come when my tears, my eyes will flow streams of tears,
Yeah,
and,
that
and
I.
things like
So
that.
the
But
last line.
one more thing before I forget. But all these things were happening to him. So it is not that he was longing for them, and it is not that it was not happening. Whatever he has written, these things were actually experienced. But in spite of that, he says that this is not happening to me.
It's not enough for him. My guess was that he's still saying he doesn't see any change in him. So what he meant is that like it's never enough for him,
Exactly.
right? Okay.
Exactly.
And then in the
And can you
last
one second,
translation.
one more point. One more point, since I'm bringing, because I have the tendency to forget. The same thing, if you look at the Shikashtakam that we are studying right now, it is Krishna himself saying that he has no bhakti, he has no taste for the holy name. If we look at the verses right from verse number 2, through number 6 that we just finished today, it's all that Krishna himself, Mahaprabhu himself is hankering for these things. So naturally, if Mahaprabhu himself is hankering, then his devotees are also in the same mood of Mahaprabhu. And they feel that it is not enough, like you said. So go ahead now. Maybe you had another point. Go ahead.
No, in the last line of the English translation was, so he came out and singing, chanting loudly, something like that.
Yes.
So is he speaking for himself or for Chaitanya Prabhu?
No, he's speaking for himself. In the last line, he says, Milibo hamare kiye achi din, roe bhakti vinod mati hu. So when will that day come? Bhakti Vinod Thakur is saying that I'm crying. Roe means to cry, right? In Bengali, another word for roe is kandiya kandiya. In many bhajans, he has used the word kandiya kandiya, bale amito adham, bhagati vinode karo he uttam. I am so fallen, but make me make me a devotee, make me uttam, make me a first class devotee. Kandiya, crying and crying. So here also he's saying the same thing. Roe bhakti vinod matihin. I have no proper intelligence. I'm crying for it. So that's what he's saying at the end, right? So he hasn't still said that I've attained it. Although he has attained it, he's still in denial. So that denial is also the highest symptom of ecstasy. That denial also is the highest, just like a person who is a cheater or a person who is not so honest, he is also in denial. If you tell him that, oh, you did this, no, I did not do it, right? He is intoxicated with his lies or his state of consciousness. But a pure devotee is also intoxicated in his state that he is in denial, that he is nothing, he is so useless. Although he has got the grace and although he is able to give even grace to Krishna, actually in the highest sense, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is able to even bestow his grace on Krishna as a manjari, by doing some services for Krishna to make Radharani happy. So Krishna also falls down at the lotus feet of these manjaris many times. Oh, please go and tell Radha, I'm very sorry, kan pakde, I will not do this. Go and tell her this, go and tell her that, and the gopis who said, no, he has made Radharani cry, he should be punished. So these manjaris, so the gopis sometimes don't listen to Krishna, but Krishna then approaches these manjaris. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a manjari. So then with a soft heart, they go and tell Radharani, he's very repentant. I think you should see him, Radharani, throw away your sulkiness, he's really, I see there's perspiration. And then they'll go and describe Krishna's state. Oh, there's a lot of perspiration on his head. And, he's really, I see tears in his eyes. I think it's gone too much now. Just forgive him. Ask him to come and see him. Give him attention. So like this. So this is an amazing, it has to be, understood to a certain level in order to relish this mood. So and we can get perhaps a little glimpse, but ultimately we have to taste that vanilla ice cream to understand what vanilla ice cream is. But the inspiration is that we want that vanilla ice cream so that we will work harder towards it. Hare Krishna. I hope I was able to clarify your query, or throw some light on some of your, Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada. That was a good point though, Kavita Mataji. Good point. Hare Krishna.
This is Harihar Behra.
Harihar Prabhu, how are you? Are you okay? Is your health okay?
I am in such a place I can't talk much.
Huh? Prabhuji, we cannot hear you. Can you speak a little bit into the phone, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
I am in such a place I can't talk loud. Can't talk in fact. So.
Are you in the hospital?
Fantastic lecture.
Are you in the hospital?
You have told, you have described almost the half of the gist of Shri Chaitanya today. Interesting. Hare Krishna.
Hare
I
Krishna.
cannot talk much.
Did anybody get, was he in the hospital? Anu Prabhu or Asim Prabhu?
No,
He sounds he's in the hospital. He's again one of those. I hope you get better, Prabhuji.
Hello.
Hariyar Prabhu, how are you health wise?
Yeah. I'm in the hospital. Okay, I'm okay. Health-wise, yeah.
You are in the hospital?
Yeah, in the hospital, but okay.
yeah.
Okay.
He's in the hospital. I hope you feel better, Prabhuji. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai. Yeah, I felt that from his voice. He is such a sincere devotee. He always helps so many people and always ready for listening Hari Katha. So what did he say? I missed some of the parts. Anybody remembers? He was talking about Chaitanya Charitamrita. That's what I heard.
Anubhai, you're on mute.
Okay.
I'm on mute.
No, I was talking but on mute. Oh yeah, Hariyar Bhai, now I was saying like you have nicely explained the gist of the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Oh,
So he was praising you, but yeah, at the end he said he is in the hospital.
yeah. So let us chant for Hariyar Prabhu's recovery 4 times loudly, everybody. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So anybody else has anything that they want to express before we...
So Prabhuji, I have a suggestion. Like as we already discussed about this Jagannath Katha, we have all the videos, everything, and last time we had detailed discussions. So we can post all these, and I think after next week we can go to like we can discuss one day the overall like summary of this Jagannath Katha, and then we can post these videos that for everybody to go through it, because last time we had 4 to 5, 6 weeks of discussion on Jagannath Rath Yatra, and then like we can start again where we left. Like we started with the Bhagavatam Katha, and we just had these 3 verses till now after a year.
This
So
is Anu Prabhu. The entire Bhagavatam is in the Chaitanya Shikashtakam.
I know.
Anyways, we will go through it. No issues.
Yeah.
Life is too short. I wanted to finish Chaitanya the Chaitanya Shikashtakam in as much detail as I could.
So life is too short. You talked about 8 verses. I am thinking about 18,000 verses. How can I finish?
And if one has even got the gist of Chaitanya Shikashtakam, you've got Bhagavatam, you've got Chaitanya Charitamrita right there. It's all in there.
Yes, right.
The rest is just, it's wonderful, but the essence is it's in the Chaitanya Shikashtakam. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke this last. He spoke it last in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Where Bhagavad Gita finishes, Srimad Bhagavatam begins. Where Srimad Bhagavatam finishes, Chaitanya Charitamrita begins. And where Chaitanya Charitamrita ends, that's the real beginning of spiritual life. The highest and the topmost.
एक सवाल प्रभु जी एक
Yes.
बात पूछनी है. I just got one CD called Japa by Prabhupada ji. So he's chanting Hare Krishna mantra, but he's chanting like very fast.
Yes,
Very
Prabhupada.
fast.
No, it's not very fast. It's not. You feel that way. He chants like this, if I'm not mistaken. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Then I think there's something wrong, because that is his speed. We put that in the temples every morning after Mangalarti. All the temples.
So the one I got it is from this Veda base, I think, and it's called, the CD number also I can give you. It is called japa by Prabhupada.
Okay.
If I can give you the CD number.
Well, sometimes Prabhupada, obviously he's always in ecstasy. So in ecstasy,
Yeah.
if he
So
chant very fast,
I wanted to know that, like, can we chant like fast? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
yes.
So
that is-
I
that is a-
counted that
and
he
I'll tell you
finished
one thing about japa.
108 in about 5.5 minutes.
Yeah, that's perfect. One thing about japa, you should be able to pronounce all the words correctly, and they should be audible to you, if not anybody else at least. So that is the thing. And as long as you are maintaining that, then your japa is good.
Yeah.
Then your japa. But many people I've seen, Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Ram Ram, Hare Ram Ram Ram, Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. We see that in the temples all the time in the morning. They want to finish, but
No,
one
this
thing is that
is
you want. Yes, I understand. It's a good thing to finish your prescribed rounds or whatever your goal is, but there is a method. So, and I'll tell you what. When I chant, I'm telling you my speed. Since you asked, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. 5 minutes per round with this speed.
yeah, 5 minutes.
Yeah. Average 5 minutes per round, no issues.
But Prabhuji, before like we talk about the speed, first thing is consciousness, right? If we don't feel the bhav, then it's not an education textbook that we have to complete the chapters 5 times a day for the exam, right?
Correct.
So if we feel the internal like bhav, then that should be the speed. But whether we do 1 time, 2 time, 5 rounds or whatever rounds,
No, that's true.
my
But the thing is that Mahaprabhu has said that one has to count them, Sankhya Purvak. So we have to count those. That maintains some discipline.
yeah,
So
right.
you have to go with our own, like you said, speed and our own consciousness. And then there will come a time where we have to force ourselves. Then we need to do that as well. Because Harinam, whether it is forced, whether it is in offense state, whether not offensive, whether it is a shadow or whether pure Nam, it will always be beneficial. That is the Samam Bonam. That's why Mahaprabhu says in the second verse, we studied that. Nam Akari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti Tatra Arpita Niyamita Smarnena Kala. There's no rules and regulations. There's no niyam. Smarnena Kala. So like this, whether day or night, afternoon or evening, anytime you can chant. But chant, that's the thing.
Prabhuji, suniye and tell me if it's a modified or is his real voice. So I copied it from prabhupadwani.org.
Okay. Loudly, please. This is original. So this is the proper speed. Sometimes Prabhupada in this chanting, he goes little fast. And then he even says sit properly. Is that the same one you have?
Yeah, sit properly. Yeah, I was going to show you that. I was forwarding it where he's saying sit properly.
Yes. Yes.
That's the one. That's the one.
It is authentic. Authentic.
That's fine.
100%.
Okay.
You got the right thing.
Okay.
Krishna Prabhupada.
Okay.
As anybody else before we wind up? So, okay then. Hare Krishna, be safe. Depend on Krishna. Depend on the holy name. The holy name is Krishna. Is Radharani. And is their personal associates. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.